Hey then guys, welcome back to Invested Intelligence. Cryptocurrency pops, explodes, runs to the upside. Is this sustainable? This is the most important question I'm hoping to address today. So we're going to get straight into the charts. We're not going to dilly-dally around. I want to go straight over to Bitcoin. And obviously we can see big, strong move to the upside. I'll just zoom in a little bit to make it a little bit more accentuated. So you can see we've got this really nice push, okay? Bottom end was around about sort of 19.5. Top end roughly around about 26.5. That's a big, it's a big move. It's pretty decent, obviously, for Bitcoin. If you want to take it in terms of percentages, that is a full 35% move, in the last 2-3 days, which is obviously significant when it comes to, what we're seeing or what we have been seeing recently. But, and there's always a but with me, I don't want to be the pessimist. I don't want to be the one that says, this is all doom and gloom. It absolutely is not. But with everything that's happening with USDC, BUSD, Signature, Silicon Valley Bank, there is, I think, going to be a trail of blood left behind as we continue to get as close to that point where Credit Suisse really starts to have a problem. And that is going to be a global ripple that's really going to affect a lot of financial markets, including cryptocurrency. So the question isn't really whether this can continue. The question is crypto the safe haven for a lot of people? And are they putting money into Bitcoin because they believe that it's going to be safe and it's going to be protected from a lot of the things that are currently happening, globally and with these financial systems? That's the real question. Now, obviously, if we just take a look at levels themselves, zoom out just a little bit, and I want to kind of bring this up a bit because I know I'm probably in the way. So this level over here was a level that I had noted on the chart. And it is possible that we continue grinding higher to roughly around about 28,000 and possibly to that 30,000. Now, many of you will remember I was saying if we break 25 convincingly, it is possible that we continue to run. My fear with all of this is everything that I've just said recently in previous videos and in today's video is that this may not be sustainable because we are dependent on big players putting money into the cryptocurrency market. This is very important. Big players putting money into the cryptocurrency market to sustain this move, right? And obviously, if you have the disparity between large liquidations to protect larger investors, so for example, Silicon Valley Bank, assets are seized, they're dumped onto the market to basically claw back. And this is just an example, but to basically claw back, money for investors, for example, or we'll take another smaller bank. If there's a smaller bank that is crypto friendly, that goes under. Those assets are sold off, that's dumped onto the marketplace, and then that money is returned to investors. But in most cases, the money is returned to larger investors, and the little guy generally tends to get screwed. But if that continues to happen as this ripples out across the globe, because this isn't a domestic US problem or US domestic problem, I think this is a global problem that's going to continue to ripple outwards. And as soon as it hits Europe, I think we're going to start to see some pretty nasty things. But with that said, that money, if you look at the disparity between larger money being dumped onto the market from these institutions that is being seized, and then retail investors or even large crypto investors or whales, who's going to win? And I'm probably going to go with the side of institutions and those huge amounts of money that are going to be dumped onto the market to protect the powers that be, right? So this is important. If we continue to run higher, I don't think this is sustainable. Again, this is just my opinion. I've always maintained this. I'm personally not touching the markets at the moment. This is the weekly chart. We've just shy broken out of this broad range consolidation, right? So we've been bouncing back and forth within this range, and we've just popped out of this range just a little bit. I want to see a little bit more movement, and I want to see sustainability around about the 28 to 30. Let it stay there for a little while, and then if it breaks down and rejects very, very strong, so if it dips and then it really starts to find some buying pressure, then maybe we start to grind a little bit higher. Maybe I'll consider doing something. But at the moment, this is not enough for me. And I know many people, I've had DMs and I've had private messages from people saying they believe that this is it. They believe that this is the bottom. I would argue that if you just look at what's happening around us, that may very well not be the case. And you have to look at the forward-thinking effect of everything that's happening, not what's happening right now. You have to be able to kind of look ahead and say, how is this all going to play out, in the next 2 to 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, going into the summer. Now, if we just finish on Binance, obviously Binance is following suit. Binance had a pretty decent run And again, let's just do a quick measurement in terms of movement, around about 21, 22% on Binance, which is pretty decent. But again, are we really seeing anything different? Not really. If we just take the entire consolidation as it is currently, we zoom in a little bit, we can see bouncing back and forth. We already know what this is. It sort of dips all the way back down. It's come top end, dips again, but we're effectively stabilizing at a mean of around about 300 to 310. Again, I think at this moment, we're probably, it's not an expectation, but I think at this moment, the markets are really going to start to slow down while they wait for that next domino to fall. And as that next domino falls, and then the next one, then the next one, markets are all going to be affected sort of globally. So in terms of Binance, I think, this really needs to pick up some speed, because Bitcoin is front running Binance by a long shot. And obviously that is the way it's supposed to be, because Bitcoin is the benchmark, it's the big player. But ultimately, Binance is lagging behind just a little. If you look at the sort of ratio between the two, Binance should really be around about sort of 330-ish. But at the moment, it's currently stabilized around about 314. So if we start to see a little bit of a dip here on Binance, I wouldn't be expected, to be honest, but I wouldn't expect it to go too far down either at the moment, because it is still within this broad range consolidation. And to be honest, even if Binance comes down to 300 again, it's literally the mean of the entire consolidation. So again, things to bear in mind, future thinking, and I'll leave you with this thought. The after effect is long lasting. All right. As all of these things play out, and it starts to ripple across the world, as it starts to ripple into Europe, we start to potentially have bigger institutions that are, could potentially be folding or, foreclosing or sort of having financial difficulties, because cryptocurrency is inside all of these institutions in some form or another. Then I think that is probably going to, filter back into cryptocurrency. And there's going to be a lot of liquidations. So with that said, I hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day or evening, wherever you are in the world. And as always, stay safe. Ciao for now.